And welcome back to the Off the Clock Show with your hosts, Shawn Gervais from OrbisX, as well as Mr. Marshall Hill from Pints and Polishing Podcast, where I'm sure you've heard him before, as well as hyperClean car care products. And he's about to crack something open. I love
I'm still on that canteen.
Sound.
I'm still on this.
Okay.
Vodka,
the black cherry stuff.
Vodka soda. Yeah.
Didn't you say that wasn't like the best flavor though?
No, that's why it's still in the fridge.
Okay, I was wondering. Yeah.
The other flavors are gone.
Yeah. Those ones went fast, huh? Yeah, you got to chase this one down with one of the other ones. That's what's happening.
But hey, do what we got to do. We're off the clock.
What can you do? Yeah, exactly. Me just straight tequila today. It's one of those days.
Go. Which kind?
Yeah. So this one actually, it's a new one. Shoot, I'll have to go grab the bottle. I don't remember, but it's not new. It's new to me. Yeah, but so the one that I usually get, it's a little square blue bottle. Oh my gosh, I don't even remember the name of it now. When it first came out, obviously I remember it, and then I just buy that one. I look for the little blue bottle. Aragoso. So, anyway, it's from Guanajuato in Mexico, but it's really, really good, really smooth, and it always comes with this little. Used to always come with this little. I don't know. It's their logo on this kind of pendant almost made out of leather wrapped around the thing. But I guess they've kind of cut that out of their presentation for the bottle. And I don't know. I kind of miss it, even though every time I get it, I just look at it. I'm like, that's cool, feels cool. And I throw it in the garbage. But I still want it as part of my shopping experience.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
That's crazy. I think you'd said that before today. Like Guanajuato it's a place I've been.
Yeah. We talked about that before. Yeah. When you were doing the mission stuff there. Yeah. Exactly. And so it's made there really nice, really smooth. You could literally hot summer day, for example. Oh, it's just perfect. That with some ice, you're good to go. But
have you ever gotten one that comes in a little wooden box and it looks like a house and you have to unlatch it? I found it there one time only, and I never could find it ever again. And that to me was the best I ever had. And it was, we gave it actually to an uncle, and every time we'd go over, we'd take a shot together. Yeah. It was the best. We'd unlock the little thing. Yeah.
That's fun. It's part of the whole experience, right? It's just
Yeah.
I love that kind of stuff. Yeah. See, I find actually packaging wise.
Do you eat the worm?
No, I have a funny worm story though. So I don't know why we thought this was a good idea, but I was young. I was maybe, I don't know, like 19, significantly younger than now. Anyway, we got this idea in our head that, okay, so if you eat the worm, apparently you get, you feel like drunk for days or something. I don't know. I've never done it. I've heard some stories. But anyway, we dried it out and we smoked it just to see what would happen. This is a true story. I was like 19. No joke. I have no idea why, but anyway, so
why not?
The effects
Smoke a worm, yeah.
Yeah, the effects were nil. There's nothing like obviously. But for some reason
smoking,
at the time we
kind of don't mix.
You never know. Although when it comes to smoking alcohol, I know it sounds weird to say, but we went to this restaurant, my wife and I, with some friends, and their big draw to fame was they gave you this thing, kind of looked like a bong almost, but they would put like a shot in there, and then they put it on top of a candle, heat it up, and there was a straw, and you literally smoke it. So as it's like heating up, no joke, you go from stone sober, instantly drunk. Not even joking. It's like it goes right into your bloodstream or something. 15 minutes later, you're sober again. It's the weirdest feeling in the world, but it was like super popular here one summer about, 4 years ago. It was some guy went to a restaurant like Chicago or something. They had that. That was their big claim to fame. He tried it, came back here, opened up a restaurant. Next thing you know, all these restaurants opened up. I wonder if we still have that device here. So we bought it after our meal. You could buy it. We bought it. And we were like, let's do this at parties or something, and then it just disappeared. It's probably somewhere in the house. But that was a weird experience. Yeah. And the worm thing, waste of time. Don't do it. It did nothing. But I've never eaten it.
You ever had a smoked old fashioned?
No, actually.
They'll take.
I've seen them made like in YouTube videos and stuff. Yeah.
Well, you can. There's some. I had a really great bar in Denver that I had one right off of 16th Street. So it was cool to walk around through there and go straight into this bar and sit out and watch people. And they're really great pizza. And then they No, they heat up the wood. They used a little torch, and then they had to
Yeah.
go into a glass that they had covering. And sure enough, man,
Yeah. And then
whenever you went to go drink it, oof, I mean, you
yeah.
smelled that smoky flavor and having
No
that
way.
whiskey
So it
to
really
it.
does
Like,
make a difference, huh?
oh yeah, it was
Holy shit.
phenomenal. Yeah, it
Mm.
was phenomenal.
I've seen guys like there's a guy I follow on I think he's called Johnny Cocktails or something. Anyway, makes a bunch of cocktails. He's on
Yeah.
Instagram. Yeah, I follow him. But sometimes I see it. I'm like, man, that's cool. I want to do that. And then I'm like, do I really want to wait 15 minutes to make a drink? It's a whole process. You know what I mean? Even like, he'll be like, I don't put the whole orange. I just slice the peel on the outside. I did that for about a week. I was making Negronis. I was putting that in. And then after a while, I'm like, and forget this. I just cut the orange in a bunch of slices, throw it in.
Speaking of drinks, I got some cab this past weekend. Was hoping to have a nice steak and
Oh, yeah.
drink some red wine and sit out and enjoy the night. Goddamn,
What happened?
couldn't get to the picanha. I had to go to that peasant
Oh,
life and eat
man.
regular steak. It was
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah. Regular
Fucking
steak.
terrible, man. I just went, God, this is what
'Cause
life has
once-
become now.
Yeah, it's over now. Because once you have the picanha, so same thing happened to me. But yesterday, we went out for dinner in this restaurant called Chops. We went there about 2 weeks ago, and we had picanha for the first time. It was amazing, phenomenal. So I was like, oh, this is great. Decided to tell our friends that are in the neighborhood, and we said, hey, why don't we go out for dinner? Our kids are gone, they're at camp, let's go. So we head there. I'm bigging it up the whole time too, right? I'm like, oh, you got to try this picanha. I tell them the whole story, how you told me about it, everything like that. We get there. I asked the waiter, I'm like, yeah. So I already know what I want. I close my thing up. I'm like, I want the picanha. He's like, man, listen, I got some bad news for you. I was like, no, what is it? So then, of course, we're all now trying to figure out. We're like, well, I guess I'll have the filet mignon. Like, don't get me wrong. They're like well known for their steaks at this place. They don't pan fry anything. They don't grill anything. What they do is they pan fry, sear the outside, and then they toss it into an oven that's set at 1800 degrees. And then it cooks it evenly through and through to whatever you want. If you want medium rare, you want whatever it is. And then they give it to you. Phenomenal steaks, phenomenal. But after I had their picanha, I was kind of like, it's not really doing it for me. So we just washed everything down with tons of alcohol, and then the night was fine, But yeah, so man, so both
So
of
the
us.
filet mignon has moved to a below average steak now, huh?
Yeah. Oh, big time. Might as well have been eating hot dogs. No joke. The bill didn't reflect hot dogs, but that's what I felt like I was eating. Brutal. But my buddy, he got I think it was called New York Center Cut or something. I usually eat seafood, so I'm not huge on knowing like what the cuts are, but I asked him why. I was like, why that particular cut? Because it was kind of like randomly tucked away on the menu. And he's like, oh, I only care about the size of it. He's like, I want something that fills the plate. So he asked the guy, like, what's the biggest one you got? And the guy's like, oh, the New York Center Cut. He's like, that's the one I want. No joke. When this thing came out, like literally the plates were huge because there were those decorative plates, they like to put the sprinkles around the outside and all that shit. So anyway, it came out. They had to like move all of his stuff into other bowls because the steak just took up so much space.
Did it have that big tomahawk to it where it had the big bone on it?
No,
too?
it wasn't one of those, but it was the same size as the end of that, but it wasn't a tomahawk one but it was just massive piece of meat. He ate the whole thing though, but the ex-military guy, so he's like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah, but Canadian military, so I don't know.
Canadian. It's funny actually, because we were talking during our dinner, we were talking about the differences between the two, because I said, when you were overseas, like, did the camps ever like get together or anything like that? And he was like, no, hard no. He's like, we didn't get along. He's like, it's always, the Canadian guys are like, oh, we're the most badass. And then the American guys are like, we're Captain America. It was a big, yeah. He's like, no. We didn't like play nice at all. But
no, and I still would say that besides you, the few Canadians that I've met, those that are French Canadians seem to
wait.
seem to be the interesting ones.
Yeah.
Are you French Canadian or are you Canadian?
Okay, so I'm a mixture of a few things. So I'm on my dad's side, Polish and Native American, and on my mom's side, French and Native American. So both sides, but different tribes. So we have this thing called the status card. So we have a status card. They give you some like benefits and stuff like that. reparations, whatever. But on my mom's side, French. And so last name Gervais came from my dad's side when his father was adopted. And then anyway, but my dad doesn't speak French at all. My mother, her first language is French.
All right. Do you consider yourself French Canadian or Canadian?
Yeah. Definitely not French Canadian. I don't consider myself that. Yeah.
Now I can talk shit. Good. I just had to figure out, right?
That's all. Okay. I just need to whittle this down. Can I talk shit? So yeah, no, definitely not. But one of my kids was born in Quebec. But
I met this Canadian when I was in Malaysia, and he was kind of doing what we were doing, hanging out, going around. I'd spent a couple months there, and I think we shared a cab. I think that's what it was. We shared a cab, and dude, he was hilarious. But if you weren't French Canadian, you weren't anything.
Oh shit!
I mean, he was. I just, as me, I like to have fun, right? So,
of course.
Wait, you said you're Canadian? No, French Canadian. Oh, okay,
French
so Canadian.
It's a Canadian. Yeah.
No, I'm French Canadian. I mean, he starts arguing. I'm having a blast, right?
Man.
Like,
of course, yeah. Oh, because to them it's a big deal. Like,
big deal.
Yeah.
Oh.
And so, like, we have language police in Canada, and they so if you have a business, it's a serious thing. If really serious, actually. If you have a business in Quebec, the language police will come and measure your signage, for example, to make sure that the English or other words, could be anything, could be Arabic, whatever, they want to measure those letters to make sure that the French letters are 2.5 times the size. And then it's no joke. They come, they set up a fucking ladder, they climb up it, and they're like measuring your sign, and no bullshit. They'll call your voicemail, and if it doesn't start French, you can have English afterwards, but if it doesn't start in French, they're gonna fine your business, and in some cases shut you down. Like, it's no joke.
Goddamn French Canadians.
Oh, it's the French. And they have this new thing right now. People are protesting. It's I think it's Bill 92, C-92. Anyway, there's some bill coming. They tried one before where if you weren't French descent and you committed a crime, they could deport you even if you were born here, based on where your parents were from. And so it's like you could get deported to a country you've never been to. It's like, what the fuck? It's crazy. And so the new law they have now, though, I think they're replacing, because there's some English schools here and there, and they're replacing those where it has to be like an immersion where it's like French first and then some English. And there's a percentage. It's like 80-20. So it's like 80% French, 20% English. And then they're changing a bunch of other stuff too. Right now, for example, when the government sends you something, let's say you get a speeding ticket, they send you a notice in the mail. You can request what language you wanted it, French or English. Now you won't have that option. It's just in French. Figure it out. So there's some shit going on right now, but people are protesting, they're upset, but it's a different place. Montreal's not as bad. It's kind of a mix, half French, half English, and then most people. I
say fuck them all.
Yeah. So like I've had some opportunities to expand there, like with our auto shop, stuff like that. I'm just like, there's no way. I'll never open a business there. So our contests here, for example, the fine print always says the same thing. It'll be like, oh, you could win a trip to the Bahamas or something, if you buy this much Pepsi or something. And then it'll say like excluding Quebec. It always says excluding Quebec. It's almost everything, man. I'll find some stuff. I'll show you. Like it's excluding Quebec, everything, because they don't want to be bothered with the legalities, Yeah.
That's hilarious. All right. Any cool posts you've seen?
French Canadian.
Yeah. Fuck them all.
So yeah. Oh yeah. So haven't seen too many detailing funny related posts. I've seen some. Well, actually, so yesterday we're at the lawyer's office and something happened with me that relates to a funny post I saw, and I realized just how like childish and immature I can be. We're at the lawyer's office signing some papers, and he had these really nice pens. I was like, buddy, can I keep this when we're done? He's like, yeah, of course, it's part of your fees. So I was like, done deal. So I put it on the table, and then I'm looking at it, and he's having a serious conversation, talking with me and my wife, and we're going over some, logistics. And I'm looking down at the pen, and right next to it, there was 1 and 5 beside it, and I was like, penis. pen 15 from when I was a kid. And then literally, but here's the funny thing, went online later, scrolled through some stuff, and it appears in Facebook. I'm like, you're joking. So I don't know, like Facebook's like in my head now. It's crazy. But yeah, so haven't seen any funny posts like detailing wise, but what I have seen a lot of posts of is people talking about Windows, and the general consensus, a lot of people are hating Windows. Like they're one guy even just wrote like glass sucks. And then everyone else was like, man, this was the best post of the month and stuff like that. And it's funny because at our shop, we do window tinting. And so we're really good at cleaning glass. You have to be, because if not, the contaminants, like you're going to be retinting windows all day. So we're really good at cleaning the glass. And I'm telling you, as I mentioned to you before, if I pulled my guys at the shop, that would be their most favorite part of the car to clean: glass and windows, or glass and mirrors. I don't know, maybe they just don't have the right process or something. People seem lost when it comes to Windows. But so I interacted with one post, and now everything I'm seeing in all the groups, Windows this, Windows, anyone know a good glass cleaner, stuff like that. And so it is amazing to see the algorithms at work though, because like I have no interest in those posts, but I click like on one thing, and next thing you know, fucking window this, glass that.
Yeah, I bet you're seeing the glass stuff and people are having problems because it's so hot. I mean, it's tougher on some glass cleaners. It's tougher to clean glass in the heat and in the summer and the streaking and.
See, that might be the difference between mobile and not. Like we've got a shop, so it's a very controlled environment.
Yeah.
So we don't really experience those kind of things. But
yeah.
So what would be your recommendation for someone?
So last week on the community pub, we do it on Wednesday nights. Last week we talked about washing in the heat. Actually, tomorrow's we're going to talk about glass and ways of glass cleaning.
Yeah.
I did a couple TikToks recently. We just released what we're calling is the perfect glass towel. I mean, it really is. And I went over in a TikTok the problems that people have with glass cleaning. The number one problem that I've seen is they'll take a spray and they'll put it too direct to the window and they'll spray it real close, and they'll get too much product in a small area that you start seeing those run lines.
Yeah.
Right. So when you have those run lines, what happens then is you go to wipe your glass, you've got overly saturated part of your towel then. Right. Because normally if they'll spray close like that, they'll hit that very quickly with their towel. And so that towel gets too saturated as you go. Yeah. And so and listen, I just know this from years and decades of training. And I don't mean I hold classes for people to pay and come learn detail. I trained not only my crew, but also crews of people that were buying products from me. Like that's just what I've done. So that's the number one thing that we see nonstop. But the number one complaint that we've ever heard in detailing is always glass. Especially when I owned a car wash. We could finish that car all the way pristine. If they picked it up late in the day and most of our customers headed back west and a little south, they would literally just watch the sun as they're going home. That front windshield, if it had a streak in it, I mean, I would get complaints on a regular basis. I mean, it is what it is, like we knew, and that was a thing that we heavily tried to train. And what we found was that most people just sprayed too direct. And so in my TikTok video, I talked about moving your spray as you go, right? It's okay if you use one spray, right? Or use 5. Like I don't care how much product is on the glass. It doesn't matter to me. It matters to me that it's moved around enough. So if I move my spray as I go, then that part of the glass is going to have more of an even coverage. Then my towel doesn't get overly saturated. Then I can evenly spread it around as I go. So that to me is going to, but there's no doubt as a mobile detailer. Yeah. I mean,
I can see how that
cleaning glass in the sun is it's extremely tough. I'll share it, on the community pub tomorrow night. I mean, a guy that was one of my hardest customers to ever deal with. later became a business investor, and we were a partner for a brief moment.
Wow.
He would on a every couple times a year here and there come back out, or have her secretary come back out and say, hey, can you please use newspaper? Like his front windshield, like he had like, you know, and I was using your traditional microfibers. This was 2002, 3, 4, 5, right? Like, so this was just, we didn't have the technology we do now to develop a glass towel that can absorb the product, and you're okay to move it around on the glass. Yeah. Back then we didn't have it. So he would constantly try and get me to use newspaper, but there's problems that arise with newspaper too. So it wasn't the perfect. Sure, yeah, it wasn't the perfect one. He always had a black Mercedes, and normally had that lighter interior on that arm that would come down.
Oh yeah.
And if you got the newspaper wet, guess what happens to ink? Ink likes to move.
Yeah, exactly.
I looked.
That's how it got in the paper in the first place, right?
Yeah, I was like, oh shit, I got ink all down this side of this guy's. It's like, so then I had to figure out, you know, how to get that off. But
yeah, jeez, that's incredible. So, do you have a name for the new towel coming out, or
perfect glass towel?
Oh, beautiful. Yeah, straight to the point. Love it. Yeah.
Straight to the point. Because it is. It's plush. It's of the highest quality, and we think it's literally the perfect glass towel.
Beautiful. And I mean, I assume obviously it would work on mirrors as well, because same principles. Yeah. Beautiful. I love that, because that's one thing I had to train my guys on a lot, was the mirrors, because they would use their same principles, and it almost is the same, but they would use their same cleaning principles that, you know, if they came from another shop or something, they were doing the same thing on the windows as they were on the mirrors. And then when they were done, I looked at the mirrors. Sometimes I would always check that when I was inspecting before it went out, because that's the first thing customers going to look at. You know, make sure their mirrors adjusted the right way, and then they're going to notice the windows, right? And so I said, you got to make sure, because if they see something wrong with that, like if there's a streak or something in the mirror, they're going to now start going over the whole car with a fine tooth comb, because they're like, oh, if they missed that, what else did they mess up? You know? So I said, if you can avoid that, little imperfections will slide, no problem, because, you know, you've covered those bases. But the perfect glass towel. Simple. Love it. Yeah. And when does this launch? You said working on it. Oh, it's out? What? Yeah. Why don't I have these in my shop?
Great question.
Yeah. Thanks, Marty. Jeez. All right. After this, order's coming your way. Perfect glass towel. Love it. Do they come different colors, or
nope?
We color code all our towels that are placed. Oh, okay. What color are they?
Orange.
Oh, perfect. We don't have orange micros at our place. Yeah. It's
you won't have another towel like this either.
Okay, beautiful.
It's very unique.
Well, I just want to make sure, because sometimes, you know, like some of my guys from at our shop, speaking of French Canadians, so I go there, and there's 2 staff that don't speak English, and so Arabic and French. And so I'm trying to communicate to the guy, and I'm speaking to him in Spanish, and he's speaking to me in French, and we're just doing the best that we can. But he was using the wrong towels for the wrong things, because orange ones did show up one day, and he was mixing stuff up. And we have a very specific system. They go in different bins. We buy specific colors on purpose. And because if not, you use a towel somewhere and it's just destroyed. And we have ours go through a life cycle where, you know, this one starts, you know, this place of the car, and it's the end of its life is usually we use it for like rims and tires eventually, and then it's garbage. But we put them through a life cycle, because we don't want to use something that was used on, you know, rims and tires. You don't want to start using that on like someone's hood or something like that. So they go through a life cycle. But this guy was messing stuff up, so that's why I was curious about the color.
Yeah, and you know, that might be the second part of, you know, I know we need to get on to the show, but you know, that might be the second part of that. That is, make sure that you use a glass towel specifically, like
just for that. Exactly.
Don't mix it. Don't wash it with others. Don't mix it around with anything else. Like, specifically, always have whatever towel you like to use. Make sure that it doesn't go in the wash with anything else. It doesn't do anything other than touch that glass.
Yeah. And then that's how you're going to get the biggest bang for your buck, investment wise, to last the longest and do what it's supposed to do. Right. Mm-hmm. So that's where one thing I was huge on with my guys, and that'll be a good tip, is that, you know, use them exactly for that, whatever its purpose is, because I saw my guys, sometimes they would, you know, spray something they're cleaning a mirror, for example, and then they would drip a little on top of something else, and they would just use the towel and clean that up. And I was like, no, because I don't want you to get in the habit. And they're like, yeah, but it's a smooth surface, it's safe. And I said, yeah, this time. But what if you get in the habit? Oh, I can just use this towel for all kinds of stuff. Next thing you know, you're wiping it on something else, and it's a problem. So that's where, yeah, that's good advice, sound advice. Yeah, use. I wrote about it in my book too. Everything goes through a life cycle, and that way too, it's kind of like we get 10 different uses out of the same microfiber over time. So that microfiber will last us a whole year, if not more, because it's, okay, it's only for, this use right now, like it's just for interior dash, and then it'll navigate to other things as it goes. But yeah.
All right. Speaking of tips.
So speaking of tips, just a tip. Jesus. So what do you got for us today? You got a tip for us?
Yeah, I do. The other day, I was at my stepson's soccer game.
All right.
And was walking. This is just an interesting part of the story for the tip.
All right.
Let me start, I guess. Let me just go ahead and put the tip in. I'm going to pull out, and then I'm going to come back. Okay.
Put it back.
So the sales tip of today is you've got to believe in what you're selling enough that you'll talk to parents at a soccer game.
That's
right?
That's solid.
So we're leaving the soccer game, and I see a customer.
All right.
All right. He's sitting there playing on his phone, doing something. So I just walk up. I love fucking with people, right? So I just walk up, start flicking his phone, and then I keep walking, right? Like, I'll do shit like that. I love that stuff. He goes, hey. And I'm like, oh, hey, what's up, man? He goes, oh, hey. It's like, so we start chatting, and my wife goes, hey, I clean your house.
Oh, shit.
Wait, what? Right?
That's crazy.
How crazy was that moment?
That's nuts.
So,
wow. So customer of both of yours.
Both of ours that we had no idea, but he'd been a customer of mine for a while. So he's bringing he's got a GTI he's coming in with later this week. He'd done a coating on it a couple of years ago, wants to get a refresh. Cool. Right? Like, when I sit there and talk to him about it, do I believe enough in just meeting his need? And so I'm going to sell him. I'm going to give him a good quality product. I'm going to give him a good, valuable price. I'm not going to beat him up enough that I can talk about it openly in front of parents at a game.
Yeah.
Right. I'm going to do that because I value what these people are going to hear. Right. So I'm going to meet his need the absolute best I can, so that if others around here, they don't wait, what? $2,500. Wait, for what? Like, layers of what? Like, people would really, like, your average person that you meet out at a soccer game, and it has nothing to do with their financial situation. You start throwing out these crazy numbers, they're going to really look at you, and you're going to miss out on all kinds of business. So believe in so much of what you're going to sell to the person is going to go so far for you, right? Like, if you believe that this is the best thing for him and it meets his need, right? Like, hey man, what are you looking for?
100%.
And then he tells me, and then I meet that need at a very great value, and he's happy, and everybody, right?
100%.
Instead of, oh no, man, you probably need it. Gonna have to spend a lot of time buffing on your car. Wait, no, we don't say that anymore. What's that word? Oh yeah. I got to do paint correction on your car.
Yeah.
Nobody else knows what that is. They know what buffing is. Yeah. Right. So believe in what you're selling so that when other people around at a soccer game hear what you're saying, they might want to do it too. Right.
100%. Yeah. And, I think building on to that too, a good point there is that's a common interaction. A lot of people, they have kids, their kids are involved in things, like my kids do dance class, for example. So when I'm there, it's usually, I'm usually the only dad that's there, and there's just a bunch of moms. Like that's usually what happens, right?
That was me at gymnastics.
Yeah, exactly. It just happens, right? And so, but the thing is, like me, I'll talk about our business anywhere we go. And so I know there's always customers there for whatever it is. And we have such a diverse range of things I can sell to people that, it just makes sense. Anyone could be our customer. So when I'm there, it's the same kind of thing. I know the owner of the studio, and I was talking to her. And so I was like, yeah, I know you got those 2 dogs. And she's like, oh no, we're down to 1 now. And I was like, yeah, but I bet he still sheds like 2. Ha ha ha. And then we were like, let's get you booked in. So I'm booking her in, literally telling her to call her shop and everything. And she's like, don't worry, it's just same thing as last time. But I knew that there were other people there that they don't know what same thing as last time was, right? So I could have just said, yeah, no problem, Janice, I got you. Same thing as last time. And instead, I reiterated exactly what it was. And then I said, and we'll give you the special price for the Studio School of Dance again. So we're going to take care of that pet hair for X price. I threw all of that out because I was paying attention to the room, and I was watching, and I saw some heads poke up from their phones for a minute. Their interest was piqued. And so then I waited, I finished with Janice. She was, we did our thing, we left. So these people now got a chance to see, oh, this guy knows the owner. Oh, he was really friendly with her, this and that. That trust is kind of built there because like they're trusting her with their kids, teach them how to dance, keep them safe, all these things. So my goal in that moment, I was like, let me try and pique some interest in this room because we're all sitting there for another 35 minutes. So then when I'm sitting there, I just went back to my phone and stuff. And I was kind of just scanning the room, see who's interested, and then I saw someone that kept looking over at me, and I was like, you have dogs too, don't you? She's like, no dogs, but my husband's a pig. Does that count? And I was like, yeah, pig husbands count. And so then we started talking, and I was like, yeah, I have this auto shop on Bank Street, and we're going over some things. Next thing you know, I swear, out of that room, just from that one session, we closed 6 people. And so it was simple. I just tell them, I'm like, listen, call Joe, There was about 20 people there. I didn't close them all, but geez, man, I'm in my free time, like at my daughter's dance class, but I believe in what we were selling. I know what we have is good quality results. I know that our pricing is good. It's really difficult, I think, when your profit margins are insane. It's difficult to sell that product because you probably don't believe in it yourself. Like, would you buy it yourself?
Did you put 4 layers on and charge yourself $5,000?
Yeah,
because you're going to have to look at this person that you see every week and try and tell them that they need.
Yeah, and try and justify it. And then
you're going to have to try and justify it, and you didn't even do it yourself. Yeah. So you got to believe in it if you're going to really start to sell to people. You got to 100%.
Believe. Imagine if they go and they talk to one of their friends who got the same type of thing done cheaper. They're looking at their friend's car and they're like, geez, your car looks amazing. Well, guess what? You just killed all your referrals for life, for life. You lost that customer ever coming back, and any chance of referrals are gone. That's where we try and keep our profit margins to a point where we're making decent money, but it's not outlandish to the point that we're having to constantly bring in new business, like through ads and stuff like that. So we do a lot of ads, but we've been able to cut our ad budget by 84% in the last year and a half and still maintain growth that we had before. And the reason being is because our customers are so happy. They're bringing us an equal amount of customers, if not more, as well as like-minded people that are, in a similar boat, similar financial situation stuff. So that's a good tip. I think, believe in yourself.
You're doing the tip? You going on a tip, or what are you doing?
I could give a little tip for sure. I could put it in for a bit. So, so my tip actually is along the lines of something similar, where you believe in your product so much that you want to put it out there everywhere. And one thing that I feel a lot of people don't utilize enough of are automated tools for strangers. And so one thing I was talking with one of the OrbisX members recently, because he was looking at some cars in a parking lot. He really wanted to work on them. He's like, how can I work on these cars? We came up with a feature solution for it.
Well, I thought that was going to be our question.
Oh, no. This is no. We're dealing with that question. Don't worry.
This is a different question.
Sort of, yeah. So I have.
Okay.
My tip for him was,
because you were going right. I was like, wait a second.
You're like, oh no. So
you didn't just go for the tip, man. Like you
put in the whole thing. So no. My tip for him was to utilize contests, and that's something that we utilize a lot at similar scenarios where there's you're at your kid's, baseball game or whatever it happens to be. There's a lot of people there and it's difficult. We've talked about the importance of having communication with a potential lead, building up, those icebreaker questions, stuff like that. But sometimes there's too many people, you're going to miss some opportunities. And that's where utilizing things like contests, have a business card handy, where always have a contest running. They can enter to win whatever, ceramic coating or something. You can pass those out quick, and then you can go back to, your icebreaker questions with a particular person, something like that. But my big tip is always have a contest running at all times. And you can set the expiration date for it to be lengthy as well. So like we always have contests running. We usually set them to 90 days, unless it's around a specific holiday, like something for Valentine's Day, something like that. We'll do quick ones. So we'll, this contest running for, next 5 days, win your sweetheart, the detailer of her dreams, or whatever the case may be. But those are really helpful things instead of a business card. So my recommendation is scrap your business card completely, put your contact info on it still, but instead turn it into a lead generating source. Because if it's just a business card, most people usually toss it, cut it, make it filters for their spliff, whatever it happens to be, but they're not keeping it most times. But if it's something useful like that, where it's, a contest, something like that, they'll make use of it and they'll probably toss it afterwards, but now you've captured their information. So my tip would be scrap your business cards and instead run contests continuously, one after the next. Yes, you're going to give away a detail, but I promise you the amount of leads you're going to get in comparison, it's well worth it. A lot cheaper than running Facebook ads or Google ads. A great way to utilize offline to online, so you can take those people in the real world and convert them into leads in your system. So, and you can do that all with OrbisX, of course, because it's the best CRM in the biz. But let's jump into, we got a question that we did that I did not spoil. And so,
but you were talking about a parking lot. And
I know it's true.
Like, I was like, wait a second here. What are you doing?
Yeah. So it's just a tip, Shawn, just a tip. But sorry, I went a little heavy there. But so the question was, we have someone that's curious about how to get business, how to get customers. He's seen some cars in parking lots that he wanted to work on. Whatever the case may be, they might have been nice cars, or in some cases he saw cars that needed a lot of paint correction. And so he wanted to approach these customers and talk to them based on our advice from previous episodes, but he waited around and the customer never showed up to their car, or the person never showed up to their car. So he didn't get a chance to talk to them and, spark up those icebreaker questions. So the question was, how do they get customers in the real world, not just online with Facebook ads per se, but how do they kind of navigate this whole customer acquisition if they can't do something like if the customer's not around to start the icebreaker questions?
All right. Okay. So
That's
I'm
beyond the
excited
tip.
about this. Okay. I really am, because I think this is going to be extremely unique. I think people are going to take it, and if they'll actually follow through with this and they'll use this plan, dude, Shawn, this is going to be really huge. I'm excited.
All right.
Right. So I'm going to go through a little bit at the first, and then I'm going to do a tag team. And once you figure out how I get there, you'll know which way to go. You'll tag team and you'll take them to the home. All right.
All right.
All right. We ready?
Let's go.
Okay.
Yep.
So it's not really much different than anybody that's wanting to grow a business, mobile detailing, or a shop. You see cars in a parking lot and you go, I really want that car. I want that car to be in my shop. I want to clean that car. I've done it. Thousands of people that have car care. We've looked around the parking lot and we've gone, yeah, I want to do that car. Yeah. How do I get that car in my shop? Yeah. Is there a magic way that we can get that car in my shop without actually talking to that person face to face? Right? I'm going to go with create a sticker, because you're absolutely right. Trash the business card. I haven't carried a business card in years, because I learned that whenever I gave somebody a business card, I felt that they would do something with it. Whenever I took somebody's business card, no matter what I did with it, pocket, dresser, whatever, It eventually got put into a pile with a bunch of other business cards, which eventually went into the trash. Okay.
Yeah.
So I stopped carrying business cards a way long time ago. Don't do a business card, but we've all done it, right? I've gone through parking lots and I've just thrown business cards in cars. What happens is many times, especially if you're in the French Canadians, they're going to strip you up and hang you. Fuck those guys. But everybody else, you'll literally might have a security guard that'll come around and go, hey man, you can't do this. And then some of them will actually try and make you go back and pick them up.
And pick them all up. Yeah.
I've had that happen too. If they're asshole enough, but they're just doing their job. So you can't say they're an asshole. You're the one being an asshole, and you're actually littering the parking lot because people don't want to see your business card in their window seal. So don't do it. Just
a lot of times you get phone calls, people are pissed.
Yeah.
You know, and they're like, why'd you touch my car? And this, that.
Don't do it. Don't put a flyer. Don't do it. Right. So if you can't do that, what can you do? Right. Because I've got to put something on that car so that I can spark somebody's interest. Okay. Now, there's a couple different ways to go about this. And this is where you get to be creative on your own side. I love the idea of what people started to do with Duck, Duck, Jeep. You guys seen that? That it's a TikTok phenomenon. It's when we get it done on a couple times here and there, and they'll take a little rubber ducky and they'll stick it on your Jeep, and it's called Duck, Duck, Jeep. The smart business owners that are around actually start putting something on the ducks. Whatever it is that you want to put. I mean, that's a whole nother thing, you know, like, goddamn, if I told you then what to write on there and it worked, like, we're going to have to start doing royalties here. So, you know, I can't get this. I get it. Beyond, this is a little bit deeper, but we just, then we're talking Holy Grail here. And we just, you know, put something on there that gets their attention. Okay. So if that's a Jeep, perfect. Duck, Duck, Jeep. Hey, we love your Jeep. We want to keep it even better. You know, whatever you want, you know, here's our number, here's a discount code, whatever you think that you need to do at that point to get them to make an interaction. Okay. Duck, Duck, Jeep is a great way of doing it. There's thousands of Jeeps out there, and we all know they need cleaned, right? You could do it for Broncos and create something else. You could get little horses. I mean, there's all kinds of things around certain models of cars that you can begin to start getting little things to put on the car, right? Or go and get a custom sticker made. There's thousands of websites that you can go to. There's one in particular I will recommend that you can go and type in, you know, sticker company. It's called Google. Right. Great website. Not everybody's heard of it, but if you haven't, go there, type that in, find a sticker company that will do that clear sticker. Yeah. Okay. Create, and you can do also go back to that other website, that G one, that Google, type in how to make a custom QR code.
Yeah.
Get that QR code all linked up, put it onto this clear sticker, and then you're going to have something else that says on there, you know, that you're going to be able to get their attention. You know, whatever you want to say that gets them to scan that code, right? 100%. Maybe you hack it a little bit, right? What if you did a Shawn Gervais mood and like didn't even talk about detail, or didn't even talk about it, could be like something about a parking ticket, right? Yeah. What if you did something about like a place that you've parked, you must scan here, right? And then it goes into something about, you know, the process of keeping their car clean and why it should be done, or, you know, you got to stick something on that car that gets them to interact. And so I'm going to go with the ducks, some type of, you know, if you're going after Broncos, put a little horses, or some type of little clear sticker. That's that other flip side of sticker, you know, there's what is it, like a static clean type.
Yeah, exactly.
With a QR code with something that gets them to interact. Now, if that's to a Facebook group, if that's to a website, if that's to whatever. But I would recommend, what if you did this and you built it out even further? You created a Facebook group for people that own Broncos in your town. You hand a Bronco and you put a horse on their car that says something about the Facebook group, scan here, or the sticker. They go into a specific Facebook group into their town that is all about Broncos, and people start interacting because they just love all these Broncos. And then what happens to all those people's data if then somehow you can what can you do off of Facebook? If I've got some other type of CRM that I could have put a sticker on somebody's car and they go to Facebook, what happens to them on Facebook with a data collection bridge into a customer retention management system such as OrbisX? What could happen from that point on, Shawn?
Yeah, and that's where what I would do is they would go to Facebook. They would either end up at a landing page, or they would have one of those pre-filled Facebook form things with their info. That would then send them the, we'll be in touch soon message from Facebook, but it's going to take that info, put it into OrbisX, and then the OrbisX AI is going to start following up on that lead. And it's going to say, hey, are you still interested in this? Or, it's going to let you know as well, you got a new lead. So you can jump on the phone, the good old phone, dial them up and be like, hey, saw you just interacted with our ad. Just wanted to chat with you for a few minutes, see how we can, work together, get your Jeep even cleaner than it is now, or protect it for years to come. We got this new, these new the perfect glass towels, and we're going to take good care of it, So that's what I would do, is I would have that funnel into my CRM, OrbisX, and then I would have that nurture that lead along. So they come in that funnel. We've talked about funnels before, and then I would have them basically walk through the processes of our funnel until we close them as a customer. And one great thing I thought of was, if you took that static cling sticker, the static cling part, by the way, very important because it's easily removable. So if someone's like, I don't want this on my car, if you just put a regular sticker on there, no good. So get the static cling, and sometimes they're called window clings. There's different names, but that's the one you want. They're really cheap too when you order in volume. And I would get something that's got the QR code, but maybe also has like bird poop or something. And then I would have an arrow and be like, we fixed this, like stuff like that. I would just try and get creative and have something there that catches their eye, maybe something that makes them chuckle, or maybe you want to, target higher end vehicles. I would put something and be like, please call me. I'm so happy you're not another Yaris. Like I would put something out there, just something to get the conversation going, kind of thing, Or one great thing that a lot of people can't resist is, like when you hear a phone ringing, someone needs to pick it up, that kind of thing. People can't resist things like riddles or jokes even, so you could even have something that's like, you put the start of a riddle or something like that, and then they have to scan the code to get the other half, and then send them to a landing page. And then on that page, have a little blurb about something. Just get creative, think outside the box, and have things that will drive that person to your Facebook page or to your landing page. You could even use just OrbisX on its own, send them right to your booking form, have a little blurb about some stuff there, and then they can choose different things. But get creative, think outside the box. This is where you got to really think. If you were a customer and you came out to your car, you just finished groceries, you come out and there's something on your window or something here, what would it say that would intrigue you to take action? And then that's where you're going to get the, the most referrals and leads coming in, and then funnel those into your CRM, and OrbisX will handle the rest of it for you. Yeah, that was a really good reply to that. This guy's going to be happy because he wasn't sure. He was like, how can I get?
Imagine everybody else that's listening. Everybody else that's listening is going like, "Wow, hell yeah, that's the best ever!" Like literally, that's $100,000 idea right there.
100%, and we're giving it away just for $19.95 a month. But no, that's a solid idea though. And I've seen stuff similar to that where people, people that fix windows in houses, for example, they do the door hanger thing. Everybody does a door hanger thing. But then occasionally I'll get something on my house where someone like puts something on the window or something like that. It just stands out. It's like, whoa, that's different. And then I actually pay more attention to it. Like our mailbox, check the mail. And it's just flyer after flyer, all the exact
just
same.
don't be an asshole and be like, I want to clean your car. Click here.
Yeah, don't.
Like, that's not going to work. It's not going to
No,
work.
it's not. You're not going to
Nice
get
car.
anybody.
We wash them. No, I ain't going to
Yeah,
work.
yeah. The only calls you're going to get is some guy saying, why'd you put this shit on my car?
Yeah.
That's the only call you're getting. Yeah, no, you got to be creative, and it's got to be something where there's a reason. That's one reason I like contests, is that they have that chance to win something. So there's that, but yeah, get creative, think of some stuff. Go to that website. What was it again? Jeez,
Win a car wash for a year.
Yeah. See, absolutely. See, that's
oh,
a
that
perfect
website.
one.
Oh, yeah. What was how do you spell it?
Jeez.
G.
Started
Oh
with a
yeah,
G.
GOOGLE. Yeah,
That's right.
it's a tough one.
Exactly.
It's a tough
And
one.
you don't even have to put in the .com. It'll do the
No.
rest for you.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's probably the best tip of the day right there. That's just the tip. Go to
That was the money shot.
That's the money shot. Oh man, that's Google's gonna call us up now.
Yeah.
Did you guys refer to us as the money shot?
Like, well, thank you very much.
Yeah,
We do appreciate that. We are actually.
We are actually, yes.
Like, so thank you for the confirmation of that. You're
Yeah,
welcome.
exactly. You're welcome. Yeah, for just
For
$19.95
multiple
a month.
views of it, go to YouTube.
Yeah, exactly. What's YouTube? But no, man, great stuff. So these
Small
were great
company
tips,
that
man.
they own,
Yeah, just a small company.
Small
Remember when they
company.
acquired that one though? That a lot of
It's a
people
big
thought like,
deal.
oh, they're nuts for paying this much for it. And I was like, no, if you don't see what they're about to do with this, oh man. Yeah. Like controlling video ads. Whew, man, huge. But yeah, actually that's another funny topic in Quebec too, with the French Canadians. The ads, how they play. So the English part has to come after the where the skip ad. It has to come after that. It's brutal. Anyway, hence why I do business this side. But one crazy thing actually. Last funny story here. We'll sign off. But so we do window tinting here. There's two different laws. We're right on the border. Within 10 minutes, you're on the Quebec side, and then you're back on Ontario side. And we're literally right on the border. A lot of people on the Quebec side work in Ottawa because there's a lot of government jobs here, stuff like that. But they want to get their car tinted. So they spend most of their time in Ottawa, where you can have tint. On the front, we're allowed to have, I think it's 35% now. You can do. That's as dark as you can go. But on the Gatineau side in Quebec, it's 72% or something like that, something weird. Basically, they don't want you to have front windows tinted at all. They want to be able to see inside, stuff like that. So one of the big things that we started doing was, this is maybe another tip for anyone else that's in my area or in a similar situation, is we started selling kind of like warranties, but for in case you get a ticket, we'll remove it for free, because usually they force you. They're like, you have to remove it, and they give you a razor blade, and they say you can remove it now on the spot, or you have to remove it within 30 days or something like that. And then you have to actually show proof that it's removed. So anyway, we offer a thing where, look, we'll tint it for you. So we can legally tint whatever you want, but then we sell them this warranty thing that covers if they get a fine, and then it just covers us removing the tint after. But 70%, can you imagine that? They just no tint at all. It's crazy. But fucking French Canadians. But yeah, anyway, little upsell. See, behind every what is it, broken window, there's a door. I don't know. There's some saying, there's an opportunity knocking. I don't know. But yeah, these were some good tips today though. Solid gold. I think definitely ditch your business cards. That's number one. And then number two, I would say, as Marty said, think of something you can put on the side of someone's car. Those little figurine type thing, that's a good one too. That really captures people's eye. It's like, if you came out and saw that, your curiosity is more piqued than seeing a business card under your windshield or a flyer or something, Yeah. Good tips today, man. Appreciate you as always. And so we'll be back next week. Hopefully we find some picanha steak in the meantime. And if not, back to hot dogs it is, I guess. Not the same, huh?
Just not the same.
It's not the same. I know. See, it's because of you, though. You ruined every other type of steak for me. That's what happened.
Yeah.
Once I had the picanha, oh, man. Yeah, I'm going to have to learn how to make it myself. That's what
Yeah,
needs
you're
to
gonna
happen.
have to figure out how to find it. There's got to be a butcher up there somewhere that can cut it for you. It's got to
There
be.
must be, yeah.
Gotta
And then I got to just learn their seasonings, whatever
Yep.
they
No,
stuff
there's
they
no
do, and
season. Salt. That's it.
That's it.
No season. You bathe it in
Holy
salt, you cook it in salt, and then you shake the salt off, and then you eat it.
Damn. Just like that.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay. Easy enough. I can do that part. Now I just
Yeah.
have to find the cut.
And then find the rock salt. You got to find their rock salt.
Ah, okay. Yeah, yeah. So we're not talking just any regular salt here.
Mm-mm.
Damn. Okay. So now I've got some homework. I've got 2 things I've got to track down. I'll let you know how it goes next Tuesday, man.
All right.
All right.
luck.
Good stuff, Marty. Thanks.
See you,
Talk
man.
soon. All right. Ciao.